From hunting to fishing to wildlife conservation, Oklahoma has plenty to offer every outdoorsman, including myself. Born and raised in the great Sooner State, I wanted to showcase the passion of many here in Southwest Oklahoma, the outdoors. It's my outdoor adventures. Up first is turkey hunting.
It's exciting. I don't think anything beats calling a big old gobbler in and comes in gobbling his head off, gives you the shakes.
Carter County Game Warden Jalen Flynn has hunted turkeys for about 14 years. He says some people only look at it as a sport, but there are other reasons we do it.
Like all other animals, you need population control. If something gets too overpopulated, then diseases and a bunch of other sicknesses start, hindering it and wipe the whole population out.
Even for an experienced turkey hunter, it isn't easy to find a bird. I learned that real fast, but there are ways to locate them.
I use a crow call, locate them. It makes them shock gobble. It surprises them. They get loud. You just locate a bird in the woods, peacock call. Some people use goose calls or coyote howls.
Even after you find one, getting it to come into you or your decoy can take a while. Jalen says sometimes it's because of the age of the bird.
Sometimes a jake or a group of jakes will just come screaming in and it'll surprise you, or you get it, like I said, an old bird. He could do the same thing, but more than likely he'll have hens and come in slower and you'll have to work him harder.
A jake is a younger bird and the toms are bigger, older birds, but they all taste the same. Jalen says his favorite part of turkey hunting is the challenge.
It's pretty hard. Birds will make you feel like you're the smartest hunter ever and come in on a string in a matter of seconds. Some days you just don't see a bird at all.
It took miles of walking and waiting, but after several days of hunting in 2 different counties, I finally got one. But Jalen says not everyone has been as lucky this season.
It's pretty hard. That's why they call it hunting and not killing, but birds are still henned up pretty hard, and if you can find them separated, then it's pretty good, or get them off the roost, but outside of that, it's been pretty tough. I know birds don't like the cold and they don't like the heat, and we've experienced both extremes of that this season.
Jalen takes hunters new and old on guided hunts throughout the season. Sharing his passion with others, he says, is a great feeling.
I love it. Getting people into the sport and watching them fall in love with it as much as I do. If I can take somebody out and they can get their attention drawn to the sport and get them that itch to go out and turkey hunt every year, then I consider it successful. It truly is an awesome feeling seeing a turkey come running in like that. Well, from land to water, Oklahoma is home to many species of fish, but one lake seems to rise above the rest when it comes to the striped bass. I traveled to Lake Texoma to learn all about striper fishing in this next outdoor adventure. This is a good one. Lake Texoma is one of only 10 lakes in the country that has a naturally sustaining population of striped bass. All right.
Texoma is known for striper fishing, and it's great all year round, but we have almost every kind of fish you could native to Oklahoma here.
It looks quite a bit like our native white bass, but it gets to a much larger size, and then it's got these black stripes that run from right behind the gill plate all the way down to its tail.
Striper can range from 11 inches to 40 inches and up to 20 pounds.
You'll bait it?
Trey Hale is the Bryan County Game Warden. Part of his job is patrolling the lake, but he also loves to fish it. What's a good day of fishing out here? How many are you usually catching?
You're allowed 10 for a limit. If you're going to travel to come somewhere and fish, Lake Texoma is a place to do it. A good day of striper fishing, you're going to catch a lot of fish.
But they call it fishing for a reason, because not every day is good, which is why some techniques work better than others.
We're mimicking feeding stripers, and as you're splashing the water, vibrations are going down the water, and those fish pick up on that, and they're going to come to that vibration, and our baits are under the boat, so the more fish you can have around your bait, the better chance you have of catching something. All those red and yellow marks, these are all striper underneath us.
There's a lot of stripers in the lake, and because of that, we can be pretty liberal with our harvest regulations. People can harvest 10 a day, of which only 2 can be over 20 inches.
Matt Mock is the South Central Region Fisheries Supervisor. He says not only is the striper fishing at Lake Texoma fun for the community, but it also has economic benefits.
A lot of people that enjoy the lake. There's a lot of guides that work on it and businesses that are reliant on the striped bass fishery, so it's important that we understand what's going on, that we provide opportunities and that we also are able to make sure that this fishery is good next year and many years thereafter.
Woo!
Got it.
Got it. The striper population at Texoma is currently the highest it's been in 16 years. So for the beginners out there who are itching to hook a striper, it's a great year to do it.
Trust your electronics on your boat dash. Go find schools of fish and just stick with them till you figure it out. It's kind of a learning curve if you've never done it, but that's half the fun of coming out and chasing fish you've never caught before.
It was definitely a trip I hope to take again soon. Well, from plants to wildlife, there are many benefits to a prescribed burn. I got to help out with one earlier this year as part of my outdoor adventures and found out just how beneficial fire can be to wildlife. Fire. We learn at an early age to steer clear of it, but it actually has some remarkable benefits.
Fire is important to keep plant communities vibrant, to keep them healthy, to keep the wildlife habitat, to support the wildlife. And without fire, native plant communities change in undesirable ways.
Oftentimes after a burn, livestock and wildlife can be seen grazing over that area. Michael Porter, a wildlife and fisheries consultant, says fire is like an instant food plot for hunting.
Because you burn an area, it will draw the game. It'll draw cattle, it'll draw deer, it'll draw turkeys. They're attracted to that fresh growth after the burn. It's much more nutritious, much more tasty. It's probably better than most foods you could plant.
Without fire, areas can become overrun with invasive species, making it unattractive to wildlife.
Deer need both open areas and wooded areas because they eat both browse and the herbs that are in the open areas. And without fire, you lose that mix. You end up with mostly just brush. So we need fire to maintain the plant community in the stage we want.
Fire can improve the quality of our drinking water and even reduce the tick population. And strangely enough, fire can help control fire.
We can use it to reduce the risk of wildfire, reducing fuel, reducing volatile fuel, reducing eastern red cedar and stuff that makes fires a lot more dangerous, a lot more harder to contain and control.
Prescribed fire specialist John Weir says conducting a burn is not something you do on a whim.
Planning is the most important part, and planning should start 6 months to a year out. When are we going to do it? Why are we going to do it? How many people we need? How much equipment we need? What actual tract of land we're going to do? What kind of fire breaks that we're going to do?
Wind speed and humidity are some of the variables that are taken into account as well. If you have questions about how a prescribed burn is done or need help planning one, you can call your local county extension office. Frog hunting is a favorite pastime for many, and in this next outdoor adventure, it became one of my favorites too. I hope you enjoy. Summer nights when the moon is out and the bugs are in full force.
Gosh darn it.
That is the best time to go frog hunting.
Yeah, they were good bullfrogs right there.
Trey Shockley and Garrett Boland have been frog gigging for years.
You just wander around a pond in the middle of the dark and got a sharp spear and you just stick them.
The spear, we're just going to try to stab them right above the legs where we don't ruin the meat.
Nowadays, they say it's more of a lost art.
You go to talking about frog gigging to some of the older folks, they say, yeah, we used to do that years ago, but ain't nobody does it around here anymore, hardly.
That's a good one.
That's for your meat.
Armed with a headlamp and our gigs.
Gotta be quick.
Quick and precision. Have a good spotlight. I mean, you want to blind the frogs where they can't see you coming from whatever direction you want to hit them from. So you just want to be quick enough to get your shot, get in and get out.
But it's not as easy as it looks. Boland's biggest tips for beginners like me:
Find you a good pond with good frogs and watch for snakes. That's a big deal.
And he's not kidding. After getting over my fear of the creepy crawlies,
I hate spiders more than I hate snakes.
I started to get the hang of it.
Got him.
Shockley says he grew up an outdoorsman, and frog legs are some of his favorite to eat.
Yeah, we cook everything. I mean, if you kill it, you got to eat it. I mean, we were taught that pretty young. Plus, it's good tasting.
Boland says he actually started frog gigging after he tried frog legs at a restaurant for the first time. From pond to plate, he says it's satisfying to cook the wild game he catches.
People think they just go to the grocery store and pick up their meat there, which they don't realize how far and all the processes that other people have to go through for the meat to get there.
And for those who are grossed out by the thought of eating frog legs,
That's pretty dang good.
don't knock it till you try it.
I never knew how much I was going to love frog legs, but they really were delicious. Well, there are many ways to catch a fish, whether it's with your hands or with a pole, but the more unusual way is with a bow and arrow. In this next outdoor adventure, I went bow fishing and found out it's a lot harder than it sounds.
You're on a boat with lights and see the fish, shoot the fish.
It's a combination of hunting and fishing.
It's basically fishing with an arrow and a bow. There's not a whole lot of people that do it, but the people that do get it, they get hooked pretty quick and it's starting to grow.
Bow fishing is usually done in lakes or rivers at nighttime.
To me, it's just like being in the daytime in the water. I mean, we've got lights that light it up like it's daytime.
Willie McGee and Shane McDonald have been bow fishing for about 5 years and run a guide service together.
I started to try to take veterans and first responders out, and it kind of turned into a little business, taking people out that don't get the chance to go.
McDonald says he loves sharing his passion of the outdoors with others.
Twist that off, and it flips up, and you can take them off.
I grew up in the outdoors, and some people didn't have that chance. So to me, it's helped me along in my life, you know, just being out in nature and getting to see things that you don't get to see in the city every day, you know. And if those guys don't have the means to come out here and do it, then we're more than happy to bring them.
You're allowed to bow fish for non-game fish only, like carp, flathead catfish, or alligator gar. While it's fun, McDonald says he also does it to help clean up the lake.
We really help these lakes out by taking these fish out that are non-game. They really are detrimental to the habitat population for all these sport fish, you know, largemouth bass and stuff. They eat a lot of the grass and all their cover that they hide in, they feed off of, they lay their eggs in.
The fish we were looking for were close to the bank, so we floated the shallow waters for a while and managed to get a few.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Willie says his favorite part about bow fishing is the camaraderie between him and the people he goes with, and it keeps him busy during the off season for hunting.
Hunting, you know, you just got a short season, so you got to find something to do to take the part of, you know, from the summer. This is a great thing to do. You stay fresh with your bow and get to hang out with your buddies.
Willie says it can be frustrating at times, especially for beginners like me.
Haven't got anything yet.
Okay.
Working on it.
But you know what they say, practice makes perfect.
I still managed to get one by myself. Even though it was small, it still counts. Well, feral hogs are a real problem for farmers and landowners across the state, causing millions of dollars in damage. Hog control is one way to slow the spread of the invasive species. In this next outdoor adventure, I went hog hunting with thermal imaging scopes. Check it out.
And then as they start running, you take whatever hog is on your side.
Hogs can be found all across the state of Oklahoma, but they are most active at night.
Whenever you see the pigs and it's dark like this, they can't see near as well. So pigs can smell very, very well. And if they're out there, then all you have to do is play the wind where they won't smell you, and you can usually get within 75 to 100 yards from them.
We got the wind in our favor, so we'll be able to sneak right up on them.
There are several ways to hog hunt. Some people use dogs and some just use traps. For this hunt, we use thermal imaging scopes on rifles.
You can just really see right there.
Yes.
So we have a thermal that detects heat, and you'll be able to look out there, and if there's a pig or anything that has heat to it, if it has a heartbeat, we will be able to see it.
Like myself, it was State Senator Paul Scott's first hog hunt, too.
He's coming right to me, to the left here. And I love hunting. I've enjoyed it since I was a little kid, you know, and grew up going squirrel hunting with my dad and my granddad. But this is actually the first time I've been out hog hunting with my son-in-law.
Cale Murphy is the owner of Murph's Guns in Duncan. He says night hunting with thermal imaging scopes is fairly new technology and is becoming more popular.
It is unique, it's fun, it's something that you can do year-round.
Hog hunting is allowed year-round on private property during the day or night with permission from the landowner and by obtaining the free night hog exemption permit if you're hunting at night. And because there are so many pigs out there, the state does not require a hunter to clean the animal.
The wildlife department actually says you have to kill 70% of the pigs just to maintain the population.
You really can't shoot enough pigs to eradicate them. They do destroy tons of wheat fields. They're sort of like a rotary tiller.
That's kind of what it looks like after they've gone through.
If you're interested in learning more about hunting hogs, you can go to wildlifedepartment.com.
Oklahoma has a rich tradition of quail hunting, even though quail numbers are down across most of the state. A locally owned and operated quail farm right here in southwest Oklahoma is doing its part to help keep the sport alive. The 777 Quail Farm is this next outdoor adventure.
777 Quail Farm is no small operation.
We start off with 300 females, and if we got 100 eggs from each one, that's 30,000 eggs.
Located in Indiahoma, Bill and Connie Nadeau raise and sell over 20,000 northern bobwhite quail each year.
It's a labor of love. I'm not scared to work, and it is a lot of work.
We like to stay busy, we like to stay healthy, so this is just something that we do together.
They collect eggs every day that go into refrigerators, incubators, and then hatchers.
They're only about the size of a nickel. When they come out, they're very tiny.
Look at that.
The peeping can be deafening.
At just a day old, they go into a room where they're fed automatically.
The key is to isolate them, not be around them very much, and it keeps them flighty.
We want them wild, so we feed through these tubes, and it goes into feeders.
There are multiple rooms for each age group until they're old enough to go outside.
When they're 16 weeks old in this business, they're considered an adult.
And at that point, they can be sold. Besides raising and selling the birds, they also offer a fully guided quail hunting service.
Bird, bird!
Go out to the property that we hunt, and I'll plant the birds.
But where he plants them is not typically where you find them, which is where the dogs come in.
And the dogs are world-class dogs.
When one of them locks down on a bird, the other ones will do what they call an honor. They stay there until my husband gives them the command to flush the bird.
Okay, birds in here.
If the shooters miss them, there's a good chance they won't fly off the property, and we can hunt those very same birds again.
With quail numbers down in Oklahoma, Bill says his farm helps with the state's population.
Yep, get in here.
Sure, we're out hunting them, but some of them get away and they survive and they breed.
Bill and Connie enjoy running the farm together, but just being in the outdoors is what they truly love.
I love the outdoors. It's not something I do, it's who I am.
Just to be out there when a turkey walks by, and it's just amazing. And to have a deer walk out of the woods in front of you, and it's just majestic. I really enjoy it. He's introduced me to a lot of fun stuff.
Some people live to work. I work so I can live. The reason we raise quails is to make a little bit of money so that we can go enjoy the outdoors.
I was really tempted to take one of those day-old babies. They were just so tiny. And speaking of tiny, the majority of today's adult deer hunters were introduced to the sport as a child. I went hunting with a father and his 2 boys, but in this outdoor adventure, I was behind the camera instead of the rifle.
Come here, Chase.
Introducing kids to hunting and the outdoors teaches lessons and values that last a lifetime. That's what Chance Caldwell is sharing with his boys.
I'm going to shoot a deer tonight.
That's the hope, at least, but they call it hunting for a reason.
It teaches them responsibility, learning how to shoot a firearm, teaches them that you have to put in hard work, and at the end of the hard work, there's always, not always, but most of the time there's a prize if you put in enough work.
Chance's passion for hunting also started at a young age. He says getting the kids involved in all aspects of the outdoors gets them up and moving.
It's more of a family opportunity with your kids, getting them off the couch, getting them involved in something other than, the new world industry, which is your phones and iPads.
In the time that we were in the deer stand, all kinds of wildlife showed up.
What is it? A turkey.
5-year-old Ketchen and 6-year-old Chasen know that it takes a lot of patience to hunt deer.
What does your dad tell you to do?
Be quiet and don't move, because it will scare the deer off.
Their favorite part of deer hunting, though,
we like to see how many antlers they have and to eat them.
Finally, when a mature buck walked out in front of the stand with just a few minutes of shooting light left, Chasen took the shot.
You got him. I think you got him.
And he did.
Dude, you just killed him.
We waited about 30 minutes and then took off to find him.
Y'all count his points.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Golly. It's something that me and his brother Ketchin will never forget. You know, putting a big buck on the ground at 6 years old is a big accomplishment. I'm very proud of him. He made a good shot.
The next night, Ketchin wasn't as lucky, but some of the best memories made are ones where you don't pull the trigger.
It's fun coming out here, regardless if you shoot anything. We have fun in the stand. It's always a memory you're going to have, regardless if you shoot an animal. It's the time spent in the stand with your kids that you're going to remember.
Well, that about wraps it up for all of my outdoor adventure stories that I did in 2019. I hope you enjoyed them just as much as I did. Thanks for watching.